Good morning, good morning, good morning. So this is Mechatronics week 2, but it's actually week 3. The first week they didn't really have us do anything. We just showed up, went over the greeting thing, and then they even gave us the second day off. So that was nice. Although I wouldn't have mind started on that first week, but not sure what was going on. But yeah, so now we're on week 2. We're on the second lab, which is coming on to about well, it'll be doing the third week. It's gotta check my bags here, make sure I shut everything. It's all locked up. But first week we modeled some dice, or a die, one, singular. And that was not too bad. You also had to print it out, 3D printer. That got a little more complex, depending on if you had no experience with 3D printing. Takes a few days to get into that. Well, it did for me back when I started, but was amazingly accurate. Printed out to within 5/1000ths on all 3 axes, so that was pretty cool. I didn't expect my printer to be able to do that easily. With basically the only one was off a little bit, my y-axis, and it was pretty dang close to perfect anyway. It was 10/1000ths off, so, or not 10/1000ths, it'd be 100th. It was off 100th. There we go. Got to get my sizes correct there. And you had to write up a little report on that also. So you got 150 points out of the dice probably towards your grade. And then this week they gave us a roller assembly, which I'll put a little picture up here. It looked pretty dang complicated, but ended up being a really pretty simple project once you got going on it. I've got it done, and we just started it yesterday morning, and I had it done the same day. Granted, I have free time to do it yesterday, so one of the main things that's been getting me has been they have us watching all these videos. So you're in class for 3 hours, 8 to 11 on Monday, and then you've got another 6 hours of class on Tuesday. So not a bad schedule, but then we've got probably another 3 hours of videos we got to watch each week. At least 3 hours. It's longer than that. I've been doing it at 1.5 speed, and last night I had to get to 2 speed. So that's been a little bit hard to get through the actual course material, and it's just pretty boring to start with for me so far. Yesterday wasn't too bad at the end. We got into some a little bit of math for Ohm's law and that kind of thing, and then we had a test on that, which was worth a little bit of points. And then last Tuesday's been the more fun classes, I think. That's Total Mechatronics and Mechatronics, and I don't know what the name of the other class, Systems Approach, I think is what it's called. But basically we get to mess around with a Mechatronic system. Mechatronic. I gotta add the A. I always forget it for some reason. And then we get to troubleshoot them as we're going through, and we've got a multimeter for that, which makes it, you know, they want to do it scientifically, not just like I normally would, is, you know, test that wire, test that wire, test wire. They've got you going through everything, getting the actual reading, and then you can go back and look at which one is actually wrong afterwards, and use the readings themselves to determine that. So that has been kind of cool. Definitely a more scientific approach than my normal troubleshooting, which gets the job done, but, you know, there's been a couple of times where I've been stuck, and then definitely excited to see what we'll learn in the future. We've got some watch out for that. You gotta watch out around here too. There's a lot of little metal scraps from this recycling place here, so I'm always watching the road here as I'm going. But we'll have you know, some circuitry kind of things like that they actually go into. It's definitely a higher level than I've ever been exposed to, and that's what I was looking for. I did some sim work for airplane simulation stuff and got stuck on the circuitry, you know, getting the programming side of it going, and even the hardware programming, you know, the actual physical hardware, getting it to roll over and work correctly was not my forte. I've got some old stuff that's I think it would be considered maybe analog, but maybe not. It actually might be digital. I'm not quite sure. The way they were describing it the other day, it's, you know, on off. That's kind of digital. It's just, you know, it's gonna decipher that stuff, and then your resistors that you're, you know, your pot sensors that you're gonna rotate to get different signals. That's your analog. Which, so I've got a mix of analog and digital, I guess, for sure. And then, but you know, just hooking up a button, you know, that was not something I could get to work with a computer controller. So Mechatronics, that's what it does. Is Mechatronics is computing electrical and mechanical systems and getting them to work in I don't want to say synergy, but I don't know of another word right now. Consternation, I don't know, I can't pronounce that right now, too early in the morning. Yeah, so getting up early in the morning has been one of my only things. These gloves make my hands numb. So that's been a challenge. This doesn't look too bad right now though, huh? Riding a nice motorcycle. It is a little cold though, but it's 46. But yeah, these gloves they're too tight on my hands, I guess. I also want to get those little bar vibration dampeners on the end here. There isn't a lot of vibration, but I think I've just got poor circulation maybe. I got my health issues, so I'm guessing it's blood pressure related maybe, I don't know. But I do get some numbness in my hands when I'm riding, and I don't like that. It's a little scary. But I love riding. Hopefully it's something I can keep doing for quite a while. I had to upgrade to the nicer bike. That way I actually don't do much. I just sit on top. Getting on and off of it's a semi-struggle. And if it does want to tip over, I just step away and let it fall, because trying to stop it, I popped a hamstring about 2 years ago on my old bike, and oh boy, that was painful. I was hopping around the middle of an intersection, just put my foot down wrong and it popped, tore the hamstring. The whole thing turned all black and blue. I mean, it was all the way from down into my calf. I had blood down there causing bruising. So I learned the hard way that I'm getting too old to do any, you know, if you're cold, especially in the morning like this, and go to stop it from falling, you know, it's not worth a health issue. Just let it fall over. This one sets down pretty good, so I got all the stuff on it to let it set down without scratching anything too bad. Coming into downtown Tacoma here, and we got the aroma of Tacoma. Nasty. That's a paper mill, a sewage treatment plant, a dog food factory, and a dump all put together right there. It's a beautiful view. You come up over the top and then you get a mouthful of Tacoma. I tell you, it's smelling wonderful tonight. Ooh, or this morning. Yeah, I still can't get it out of my mouth. That is awful. Skunk Works. And then right here, as you get to this bridge for your next view, you got a marijuana distillery or growth place, something happening here. It's a spicy aroma right there. Boom. Well, thanks for coming along on the ride. I'm just making some mechatronic content here. Mechatronics? See, I said it right that time. That's good. I learned it wrong, and then, you know, the rule of primacy, you learn something wrong, it just sticks. It really sticks, too. So I keep dropping that damn A. So just ignore it. Say it right. Mechatronics. Because, I don't know, is Mechatronics a thing? Because I invented that word. That's copyrighted. Green lights. My helmet's fogging up here a little bit. Nice and warm this morning. The gloves are important, and my hand is less numb now for some reason. I don't know what's going on there. I'm just not gripping as hard as I was. Maybe I was being stupid or something. So I got about a 22-minute ride to school. I will not let you guys come along the whole time. I'll speed it up a little bit here with some, whatever you want to call that. I don't like this spot right here. It's kind of sketchy. The next spot's even worse though. This little on-ramp interchange that's coming up here is the dumbest one. It's one of the dumber ones on I-5, and it shouldn't be. It looks pretty simple, and it's not designed that bad. It's just operator error on a state level for all the drivers. Everybody that comes through here makes it into a mess, it seems like. Need some interlude music again. There you go. That's all I got for you. A little bit of RPM music. Is that a thing? I do know that the Japanese do that, like motorcycle revving contest music thing. Yeah, see this? I mean, why are we slowing down? Just go the right speed, and then everybody's trying to merge in and out. Then I'm just gonna get the hell out of here. That's how I deal with it usually. But yeah, that whole merging over to Gig Harbor, eugh, craziness. And then watch out for the you-know-who. They're going to be around here someplace. Oh look, it says motorcycle's okay. Boom, we're in it. It disappears in like 30 seconds though. Stupid. I wish this thing went all the way through Tacoma. I don't know why it doesn't. I like an HOV lane. I gotta get off here pretty quick anyway. I don't know what you do. So yeah, today is systems approach and total mechatronics. So we're going to go over the little mechatronic systems. They broke them last week. We had to discover why they were broken logically and with correct multimeter readings. We had to make a whole chart for it. And then this week we're going to have to use diagram IO, or I don't remember what it's called, but it's something that just diagrams everything, but it is called IO. And we'll use that as computer program, and it's only on computer, which is stupid. It should be on freaking iPad, and then just have your iPad there where you're working. That was a mega fail, I thought. But we'll get that going, and we're gonna bring up a schematic of the entire system. I was working on system 3 last time. I don't know if we'll keep the same groups. Pretty easy mechatronic system. We only had 5 steps, so it was one of the simpler ones. Some of them had, I think, 13 steps, so I was like, eesh. They had a lot more work to do that day. But overall, pretty simple. But it was nice. It was challenging. You know, you actually were learning something the whole time. And I've got a lot of experience with electronics and maintenance and installations and boats and airplanes and a lot of motorcycles and cars. And I'm pretty good with electrical stuff too. But this was, I was learning tons the whole time, so I really enjoyed that. I was afraid I'd be twiddling my thumbs. And I am not, I assure you. It has been slightly challenging. If I was working a full-time job, I would be crying like a little baby. I think we have some guys that are actually working full-time jobs too, and that's hardcore. This last assembly project, at first glance, I was like, whoa, that's going to take me all week. You know, or, you know, 10 hours of work is what I was thinking, but, and, you know, and maybe it will, some people. I'm glad I was able to get ahead of it, but I may have to redo it. I may have to redo it. I'm slightly off on a couple of the parameters. Can't really tell, but I'm just off by a few thousandths, which is, you know, it's machining, so you don't want to be off by a few thousandths, especially with your design. So I might redo it, and that'll be helpful to learn. I'm not sure. I could fix it, which I guess troubleshooting it would be one thing. But after completing that first project, I realized that I use Blender a lot, so I was having trouble with Fusion 360. They just do things differently, and so my modeling practices that I have didn't work. The revolve tool, whoa, that thing's powerful. I was trying to just create 3 circles and bring them up and then create a face and boom, done. Like Blender would do. And you know, that would take me 2 minutes, not a big deal, to make the roller. But the revolve tool, it was so simple. I was like, whoa. You basically just do an outline of not even a half of the roller, because it had a pin in the middle, so you don't have to really even do that. You just do the top part, the outline, and then you hit revolve 360, and then that part spins around 360 degrees, and the pin's in the middle because it just circles around it. So it's got an open area where the pin goes, and it's got the complete part done with some really cool bevels that were challenged at first. I spent a good hour on that stupid roller, and then I actually designed it and made it in about 15 seconds. So I was pretty sad with that. I was like, whoa, but I mean, I learned, you know, a ton with that. So the revolve tool, anything circular is just stupid simple now. Other shapes, I had trouble. The brackets weren't great. I could have done some stuff there differently for sure. I kind of cheated it. But I'd like to see it all in one drawing or something, but I guess that's just, I don't know, maybe I can't. And then all my drawings were not constrained. I didn't use parametric modeling this time. I gave up on that initially because I thought it was going to be too hard. But I think I could parametrically model it now if I go back and look at it. But my files still look good. I did like the way I started though. So I went and I've got all my components, and they have a list of components on the build sheet. So I went and made, instead of adding components as I worked through it, I just put my files there and put the components right on them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so they were already there. And then all I did was add the drawings to each component as I went through them. But I wasn't messing with the hierarchy. I wasn't doing anything funky later on accident because it was already all built. So I think that is going to be something I do if I'm building from a build sheet. I thought it was a pretty solid way to go. Nothing got out of order during the build, and I was pretty unorganized in my actual modeling. That's one thing I did not care for. All right, so we're coming up here to Clover Park. I got a yellow light there. I was gonna stomp it. Yeah, so that's my ride. There ain't much to it. It's a decent commute. It is in a little weird part of town here, which I do find that kind of annoying, but you know, they built this way back when. So you spend, you know, 10 minutes of your drive is off the freeway just trying to get into this back area. But it's better than my other drive to the other campus, because that one takes me 45 minutes plus. And if Meridian is busy, oof. I don't know why we're all sitting here. I'm just gonna go. Nobody knows, huh? They all thought I had a yellow. Roundabouts. Okay, this looks really dead. Why is this so dead looking? There ain't nobody here. I don't know what's going on there. Hopefully I got the right day. That would suck, huh?